Hi everyone, I'm going to continue my series on miniatures between Grandmasters now with Veselin Topalov against Vassily Ivanchuk, which was played in the Linares tournament in 1999. It started out with the English opening after knight f3, c5, c4, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, e6. And here Topalov got the move order slightly wrong, or at least different from usual with g3. The most common continuation here is knight c3, knight f6 and then g3, and Ivanchuk was able to punish this. After g3 he played bishop to b4 check, then came knight c3 and queen a5, threatening to win a pawn on c3. Topalov countered this with knight on d to b5, and then Ivanchuk played d5, which is strong because if the pawn takes here, after c takes d5 the knight's hanging, queen takes b5, and even after d takes c6, queen takes c6 is better for black. So he didn't go for that and instead played a3. Then came b takes c3 check, and Topalov chose to recapture with the pawn here, which was a novelty at the time, but it's not an especially good one. Better was knight takes c3. So after b takes c3, knight f6, bishop g2, and black castled. And here we're only 10 moves in and white's pretty much lost the initiative. He's undeveloped and black's doing better straight out of the opening. Fritz gives an advantage of a pawn at this early stage. So anyway, Topalov continued queen b3, and then came d takes c4, queen takes c4, e5, which frees up the light square bishop, and then knight d6, which is not an especially good move. White still isn't castled, he's behind in development, and moving the same piece again really isn't wise. Anyway, the game continued. Bishop e6, queen d3, and then e4, which is a creative pawn sacrifice for positional gain, and it works well, as you'll see now after knight takes e4, which is better than declining the sacrifice because the queen doesn't really have any good squares to go to. Like say if it goes to e3, then knight g4 is strong, and after queen d2, rook a d8, knight takes b7 looks good because it forks the queen and the rook. But after queen takes a4, knight takes d8, or sorry, queen to a4, knight takes d8, rook takes d8. Black's better here because the queen's going to have to move, and then white will have a powerful check, or black will have a powerful check on d1. So knight takes e4 was played, and after knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, rook a d8. Black's got good initiative. Queen c2, knight d4, threatening the queen, and the knight can't be taken because of the pin on the c3 pawn from the queen. So queen b2, and then Ivanchuk played a powerful sacrifice, knight takes e2, which is very effective because it traps the king in the center, because the king is forced to recapture here. If queen takes e2, then queen takes c3 check, bishop d2, queen takes a1 is easily winning for black. And declining the sacrifice isn't good either. Say for example with queen b4, then knight takes c3 is very strong. If queen takes a5 here, then rook d1 is mate, so that's not possible. And after knight c3, black will be a pawn up in material and a lot more than that up in position. So the sacrifice was accepted with king takes e2. Then came rook fe8 and queen b4, and it's starting to look pretty bad for white here. Queen b4 isn't an especially good move, but it's really the best move that he has available to him. The only other one that is really worthy of any kind of consideration is f3, just stopping the check from the queen here and hoping to consolidate and maybe get his pieces into play. But after f5, bishop takes b7, queen takes c3, queen takes c3, bishop to c4 check, it's mate in 3. After king f2, rook e2 check, king g1, rook d1 check, queen e1, rook d takes e1 mate. So at this stage, after queen takes c3, king f1 might be a better option to go for, but even then after bishop c4 check, king f2, queen takes b2 check, bishop takes b2, rook to d2 check, king g1, rook takes b2 is easily winning for black. So queen b4 was tried, and then came queen h5 check, f3 and f5, g4, which is better than, say, for example, queen c5, because then bishop d5 is winning for black again. So after g4, queen h3, and g takes f5. Another possibility here was king f2, just hoping to consolidate and offering some material backbone. That doesn't work either, because after f takes e4, queen takes e4, bishop d5 is very strong. Queen d3, rook f8, and the pressure is just mounting up on the f3 pawn. It can't move because it's pinned, and the bishop will take the rook. So say king e1 and bishop takes f3 wins the rook anyway, because the queen's attacked. And despite the threats of losing material, white has a mating attack, or sorry, black has a mating attack as well. So g takes f5 is really the best move, but it's starting to look desperate for white. And then bishop takes f5, queen c4 check, king h8, rook e1, and after rook takes e4 check, Topalov resigned, because the check forks the queen and the rook can't be taken with the pawn, because after f takes e4 it's mate in 3, with bishop to g4 check, king f2, queen takes h2 check, king f1, and bishop h3 mate. So it was a brilliant game from Ivanchuk. I'll replay it with the threatened squares highlighted. If you haven't seen this before, then green means a square is attacked but defended okay, yellow means it's attacked and defended the same amount of times, and red means it's attacked more times than it's defended. Yeah, it's Ivanchuk exploiting the early opening mistake, and really his sacrifice with his pawn in the middle game, just coming up in a second, got him a brilliant position, and his later knight sacrifice is just powerful and won the game. Trapping the king in the center is very, very dangerous, as you saw there, especially when you're playing against someone like Ivanchuk, who just made Topalov look like an amateur there. Unbelievable, seeing as they were both rated over 2700 at the time. So, a great game. I hope you enjoyed that. Please leave any comments or thoughts. Thanks very much.